Sorry. Hi, I'm Claire Coppi. I'm here today with my good friend Jeff Porter. He is the host of Sip Trip. And we're just gonna share a bottle today and talk about a little bit of maybe the history of the bottle or the region, talk about what we taste, and just have a really good time drinking some wine. Thanks for coming, Jeff.
My pleasure. I'm super psyched. I'm not sure how much we're gonna know about this.
I'm excited.
Because since it's our first time like hanging out and drinking a bottle of wine, I went crazy.
Okay,
So this is a wine from Hungary
cool.
from 1977, which is my birth year.
No,
It is
okay.
a Merlot.
That is the way you say it.
That's right.
Merlot.
Merlot. I'm from Texas originally. It's Merlot. I'm going to butcher all of this, but it's Ferdinand Piroth.
Okay.
It's an Ausspruch, which means it's sweet.
So that's similar to like Auslese with Rieslings.
You know what? I think my Hungarian wine knowledge outside of Tokai is negative.
Ditto.
So
Doesn't
this
get enough love outside of Tokai, you know? Like
I have no idea. Like, I know about ferment.
Sure. I'm not.
So we're gonna
That's so
try
exciting.
this. It's 10.8% alcohol, so
So she's sweet.
this is she is sweet, and you know I thought, for me, a wine like this, and when you get to hang out with a person and you're newly acquainted, wine is about discovery and kind of like a relationship.
Absolutely.
And why not just go with the coolest, weirdest thing you could find? And, 1977 wasn't a prolific vintage in many places. There's a few places on Earth where, like, you can find good 1977.
Sure.
I'm hoping Hungary is one of them.
It's one of those obscure, like 77 in Hungary was just.
We'll find
shining.
out. I mean, Napa Valley, 1977, choice.
Absolutely. I mean, in the hands of a good producer,
Exactly.
that's the thing about that sometimes bothers me when people are like, oh, but it wasn't a great vintage. It's like, no, but if you have an excellent producer, like let's say like 2011 was a terrible vintage in Champagne, but you have incredible producers that are still producing really beautiful 2011.
I was speaking
vintages.
with a producer in Montalcino, and I was asking her, we were there like right when like 2010 Montalcino was coming out. And 2010 is like super famous, like big vintage. And she was like, it's kind of a boring vintage for me. She was like, there's no challenge to it. She was like, everything was perfect. I was like,
And sometimes it's boring.
yeah, and she was like, I don't like that. She was like, give me 2014 where it rains all the time. It's hard as F.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And when you try her 2014, you're like, you can see the struggle.
Yeah.
You can taste it. You can feel it. And the energy in the wine from that, I think, is elevated. And I think
I love that.
That's the beauty. I mean, that's all the beauty of wine. The reason that we come from so many different backgrounds.
Yeah, makes life
Oh, look,
interesting.
I'm not even gonna do this. I can
Look at
feel
you.
I can feel it just coming out.
This is pro moves right here. He doesn't
I'm
need the
gonna
Duran.
break it.
I know, now that I've said that.
I know, you're gonna
I set
totally
you up for
jinx it.
failure. No, you've got this.
This is so
You've got
scary.
it. This is a real pro. This is a guy with, oh my God. No, you have it. You've got it. You've got it. You've got it.
Yes!
Good job. I would have absolutely screwed that up. That's great though. Look, I mean, for 77, like, it's still not even that saturated. You can kind of
Yeah.
see where this looks great.
It's perfect.
This is so cool. Thank you
I
for
know.
bringing something wacky
No.
and weird and amazing.
I'm a little nervous, but I think again,
Wow, look at that color.
the beauty of wine is discovery. Like, I don't know what you do when you like if you have some wine like in reserve in your house, and then you like go to the store. Like, there's certain things I always buy. Like, I'm like Burgundy, Barolo, Chianti Classico, things that I always know I'm gonna have in the house.
Yeah.
And then it's just like every time I'm like, I go to a shop, I'm like, okay, I can spend $25, whatever you want, and then you get that,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, this is great. Or sometimes it's like, meh.
Absolutely. That's one of the beautiful, and also, it's a double-edged sword because this is so alive. From start to finish, wine is a living, breathing thing. And sometimes you just don't hit it on its journey at the right place. Maybe you've gotten a wine and you don't know where it's come from, and it's sadly turned. But that is the exciting thing, is you don't always really know what you're gonna get. Even if you've had the wine repeatedly from bottle to bottle, like, you could just get something completely different. And that is so exciting. I have a feeling this is gonna be really, really cool.
I know. I have a feeling.
I think it looks good.
A feeling deep inside. Oh yeah.
That the Merlot is alive.
Let's do
this
this.
color is amazing.
I know. It looks great.
It's this really pretty brick Oh, that's really nice.
It smells good. It's not like
Smells
past its
sound,
I mean,
no.
it smell for like a 43-year-old wine. It's not.
It's got like a smidge of oxidation,
Yeah.
but that's kind of lovely.
Who doesn't?
Cheers to that. But yeah. Really pretty. And the fruit's still there. It's definitely like juicy, you know, raisinated, stewed fruit, like baked fruit. But, oh man, I'm excited to taste it.
What? Augsburg
do it?
Merlot from Hungary? Who would have known? That's delicious.
It's a little bloody.
Yeah, this is.
That's really cool.
My mind is like, whatever you think Merlot
I love
is,
wine.
this is crazy.
Where did you get this?
It's a secret.
If you tell us, you have to kill us.
I do.
All of us.
I do. This came from Augustine Wine Bar.
Did it really? That's so weird. I wonder where they. Oh.
So the story is that, you know, Augustine's known for all the awesome wines that are here, and a lot of the cool old wines.
Yeah.
And so this came from, so sometimes like when people die, they have a cellar of wine.
Yeah.
And the place where they store the wine does, like, no one's claiming the wine, they don't know what to do with it. And so sometimes they call Augustine and they're like, hey, what do you want? We got this crazy lot.
And we don't want to deal with
We don't
this
want to deal
anymore.
with it.
Yeah.
You figure it out, and if you want to buy it, buy it. And that's what happened with this. And so this is a Hungarian Merlot that, you know, it's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's still got lots of acidity on it too, for being a 77, and I think that's balancing out any
And
RS on here.
you know, it's not crazy expensive because it's an oddity. But again, like, wine is about a journey. Like, we're sitting here and we don't know much about this wine. I don't know anything about this producer. We know about the varietal. We know that Hungary.
Which again, what is the varietal in this? Is it 100% Merlot?
100%
or is
Merlot.
It, okay, so it's not a blend of any
It's not a blend.
Okay.
100% Merlot. And I mean, I've been in the wine business for 21 years, and I've never had this before.
That's so cool.
And I've worked at some of the greatest restaurants in the United States with some of the biggest wine lists, and I've been fortunate and privileged enough to go all over the world and try great wine. And today, to be here on this day with you and have an original experience is why wine is so compelling.
Oh, I love how you said that. This is why we do what we do. It's these moments. Such an honor to drink here with you. And then to get to try something again, just completely new.
I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's literally blowing my mind right now. Like,
What are you getting? Because your palate is much more refined
it's
than mine.
no,
are
don't
you
ever
getting
say
over
that. It's like, you know, wine is subjective. Wine
Yes,
is, you know,
of course.
there are key markers that, you know, like when you bench press a lot, you can bench press more. It's like
Yeah.
when you taste more wine, you can taste more.
Exactly.
Or your brain kind of picks more things out.
It's like,
But
learning a new language. The more
exactly.
you practice, the more
We're
proficient.
there's no good or better. It's, you know, for me, the thing you know, there's that raisinated note. It's
sure.
almost prune.
Yeah.
But like, don't think like Welch's prune juice. Think like
No.
when you go to a place and you get a true plum that's picked perfectly and then dried properly and then put in a great dessert. Like if you were at a great restaurant in Hungary having this, I've never been to Hungary. Let's say wherever you are and you get a great plum and you dry it and you make a prune. That's what it's, when you have a great prune, this is what it smells like. And then mixed, I like that there's that bloody note, that kind of, you know, that iron and.
Absolutely. There's kind of like a sweet tobacco on there as well.
It's like
really
if
pretty.
Swisher Sweets were better.
This is the penultimate swishy sweet. And it's got a little, I don't know, it's got a little florality on there as well.
Yeah, and again, it's
Like more of a potpourri kind of, you know.
dry.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, you know, I always look at wine, and so when wine is youthful, and so let's say here's a varietal and here's another varietal. So like let's take Pinot Noir and Cabernet Sauvignon as they're young and they're fruity and they have their own individual characteristics. And as wine ages, things start to narrow.
Right.
And so like even in here, I can smell these notes that are reminiscent of other varietals.
Okay.
it's not necessarily what I would ever preconceive Merlot to be.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not
gonna
old
ask.
Bordeaux. It's not old Napa. It still has, obviously, when we do these markers for Merlot, like plum is a big thing.
Yeah.
So this is pruny. But that floral note, this is a stab in the dark. I mean, like it's amazing. It's so cool. When I woke up this morning, this is not the experience I thought I was going to have, and I'm so excited for it.
That is so beautiful. Jeez. Yeah, this is an incredibly special wine. I don't know if I would ever call this Merlot. Thankfully, we'll never be blind tasted on a wine like this.
No.
Because it's so unusual and so special. And thank you so much for opening this with me today and drinking with me and teaching me a little bit about this. And
I don't feel like I taught you anything.
the wine taught us
We
everything.
experienced it. Yeah, like it washed over. Like, what are you getting from the palate though? This is where I'm beguiled.
yeah.
Like, this is a different wine experience.
I mean, it's got this incredible mid palate, really, really luscious and creamy, right on the middle of your tongue, going down. It's that sugar that's really just kind of giving you that viscosity and the roundness on the palate. I think that acidity is still shining though for 77. It's certainly not like ripping the enamel off my teeth or anything like that, but like I'm salivating right now. It's still so fresh. You know, this is still such like a pretty parable wine. And then the length of the finish, for me, when I'm looking obviously for a lot of things. If I'm looking for a beautifully complete, balanced wine, am I picking up on a lot of different notes, those primary notes, those tertiary notes? Am I seeing any influence of oak or anything like that on this? And how long is my list of these tasting notes? And then I'm looking for intensity of the flavors and of the aromas. And this is definitely a really elegant but powerful. I mean, it's a little higher in intensity to me, but it's not smacking me upside the head. It's not obnoxious.
Right.
It's strong. And then there's this length of finish. I mean, I'm still tasting so much, and we just opened this as well.
Right.
So I imagine if we let this sit for the next hour or so, that's just going to get more and more evolved. Like I'm actually really curious to maybe revisit this a little later in the day to see
What happens to it?
exactly.
I think the other cool thing about this is like, it's because the acidity is so present, which
Yeah.
again, with Merlot, it's not something that's like in my like
No.
Rolodex of like, oh, this is what Merlot tastes like.
Yeah, it's not typical.
But like food pairing wise for me, like this is not a dessert wine for me. The way I'm seeing this, like
Okay.
I'm seeing this like
Cheeses.
Korean barbecue.
Oh,
I'm
that's
seeing
so
this
cool.
Szechuan Chinese style. I'm seeing it.
That is
I'm
really
seeing
cool.
it main course instead of doing Riesling, which we're like us Soms, we geek out, we
Go
hit
for
these
the
places
Riesling.
out tight. Like you go to Jitlada in LA and you're like, I'm gonna throw some Riesling down. Take
is
this
so
in,
cool.
you get some like lemongrass, pepper, Szechuan peppercorn.
Yeah.
You get the spicy chilies, and I think this
That's
would just be
clever.
a totally different kind of MO to it, and like there's the texture, the acidity, the sweetness would really bring out kind of that bloody note would pull out
Yes.
from the meat.
That's brilliant. That's so brilliant. Yeah, because like the sweetness already like. I don't know that I would necessarily pair this with like a sweet dessert dish. I would think about this more as like an after dinner. That's where my mind goes to, like, the more powerfully like
Right.
flavored aged cheeses, which I think that would be lovely with. But that is so cool to think about that with like Korean barbecue. That would be
Yeah,
so
I'm just
good.
like-
What a clever pairing.
Hit it with a like you take your the seared meat and then you hit it with a lot of kimchi and
I was
then you
gonna say,
throw
you
this
get
in. That would be
Oof.
sick.
I'm hungry.
I know, me too. I'm so excited about this. This is like, I don't know if you have ebbs and flows when you're tasting wine or when you're like in your, you think about where you are in wine and you're like, oh, okay, wine is this really pretty product and we're doing these things, but it's just like, it's sometimes self-gratifying or it's like, it's an exchange of a luxury product.
Yeah.
But then when you taste a wine like this, it puts the world in a different context for me. It's like it opens up this idea of, though we can't travel at the moment or we I've never been to Hungary. I feel more connected to this place. It's like this is kind of a Pandora's box wine. It's opened something, and it's flooding
Absolutely.
us with information and flooding us with feeling and emotion that I think there's so few products on earth that can do that. The other thing I like to think about is what was happening in the place. And so we're drinking a wine from Hungary, 1977. This is the height of the Cold War.
Yeah.
This is Iron Curtain. This is Warsaw Pact. And there's so many things on this label that we're looking at. It says emissary. So like, how did this get to the United States, in Hungary? And this is, pardon my ignorance, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Were people allowed to have their own property and make wine? Who knows what the state managed, but we're sitting in the experience of wine that in 1977, these people didn't have the same existence as their grandchildren have today.
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, you can imagine just how heavily regulated, for lack of a better word, that area was at that
Maybe
time.
oppressed is a better
That's
word.
probably a more accurate, hitting the nail on the head a little bit more there. Yeah, absolutely oppressed. So it's really incredible to get to taste something. I love that idea of wine being a time capsule as well. It's always something that's so cool. I remember being at Augustine Wine Bar and drinking, I think, like a 59 Angle Nook, and I was just like, think about like what was happening in the world and these people. It's exactly what you said. It's so alive, and it's connected. It's like you get to be in a time machine, like it's a time machine in a glass. You get to go back in time and taste that all, and that is such a crazy time in this world's history.
As a wine person, I think, what are we both gonna do tonight?
Look at that.
We're gonna Google this. We're gonna be like, what was going on in
What was
Hungary in
happening?
1977? We're like, I am gonna take a picture of this,
Yes.
and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna research
Yes.
because I want to know more. I've this thirst, this idea, because I want to come across this again. I want to meet someone and share this bottle with them and have that experience. Maybe it's not 77. Maybe
Yeah.
it's 76. Maybe it's 78. Maybe it's 85.
Yeah.
I always like to think, what was happening in 77 in music, what was happening in
Yeah.
film.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, Star Wars came out in 77.
It did come out in 77.
I always like to think that, yeah.
Oh, you came out in a good year.
That,
For Star Wars, not for
Star Wars,
Hungary.
but this wine, thinking,
Yeah.
again, when so many people talk about oh, you were born in 77, when you talk to wine people, sorry. They're like, you got port. Well, you know what I got? I got
No, you didn't.
Alsbrook from Hungary, mofos. I mean, check that out. Who doesn't like that?
That's
right?
my drop right there. And yeah, and you think about all the other wines, the other fantastic little discoveries out there that we have hopefully yet to drink.
Yeah.
This is a special wine.
I'm so excited.
Delighted to drink it with you. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.